Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I have brought a new poem, The Ball Poem. This is written by John Berryman. I will be explaining line by line firstly, and then I will be talking about the themes that I have written on the whiteboard. I have my book, so take out your book and study with me. Here it goes. The Ball Poem. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? This poem is all about innocence that has been lost, especially when we talk about ourselves, when we were children, how we used to take the things and how that taking any decision or considering anything, how that has been changed with the help of perception when we are grown up right now. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? A boy, a little boy. He has a ball and that ball has been lost and he's searching for his ball. Where is it? Where is it? What is he to do? Now what can he do? Why? Because he has lost his ball. He's searching for that ball everywhere, but he's unable to find it. I saw it go. Now the poet himself is using I in this particular poem. He's talking about himself. He is searching for the ball and he's not getting it, and he saw it, that the ball was moving towards somewhere, merrily bouncing down the street. Now how the ball is going? The ball is going towards the street, and that ball is getting bounced on the street itself, and then from there merrily over there it is in the water, and suddenly the ball got into the water. Firstly it started bouncing on the road, and then from road it rolls towards the water. Now it got into the water. Now there is written exclamatory mark. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. Of course, if you have money you can buy any other balls. There is no problem at all. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. Now the boy, the little boy, is shaking. He is trembling. And why he is trembling, tell me? Because he has lost his ball. And after having it lost, he got into grief. He is feeling grief. Grief means what? Very plight situation. He is not feeling well mentally, emotionally. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down, and he is standing there, he is shaking. Trembling means shaking, and just staring down. He is just staring at the ball that got into the water before it started moving from the road, and he had been seeing that ball going, and ultimately that got into the water. All his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Now that ball has a collection of memories when he was a child. Child means when he was a baby itself, and later on he had been played with that ball throughout. This time that ball is getting lost. Ultimately that little boy is talking about his young days when he was a bit young. That day, or let's say those memories of being a youthful person, got into the harbor. Harbor means a dock where his ball went, and there was the place where ultimately that ball got its destination to go. I would not intrude on him. A dime, and the speaker, the poet himself, is seeing all these activities from somewhere. And these activities, in the sense, the little boy is just there, and the poet doesn't want to disturb the little boy by going there to say something regarding that ball. A dime, another ball, A dime is the name of a currency. Intrude means to interrupt, to disturb. Another ball is worthless. Now if he wants to pay for that ball, he is not going to accept it. Who? The little boy is not going to accept. The money, the currency of the money is a dime. This is in the US because John Berryman is an American writer and he is going to compensate, and that compensation will not be taking place as because that earlier ball had a lot of memories that the new ball will not have, right? Now he senses his responsibility. Now this is the first step towards being a matured person, Why? He senses first responsibility. Now he is holding some responsibility, some new kind of accountability is coming on in a world of possessions, where that responsibility is coming, that authority is coming, that liability is coming in the world of possessions. Possessions means to have something. I have my pen, I have my book. To have something is called possession. So in the materialistic world he is entering into, and he is saying, the poet is saying that the boy is getting into the world of possession, to possess something, to have something, materialistic thing. People will take balls will be lost always. Now people will purchase lots of things, and all these things are mortals. Once we are using it, the second day it can go away from us. Little boy, and no one buys a little bag, and no one buys a ball bag, and that's how you cannot hold, you cannot cling, you cannot stick to a thing that has been with you, and you want to make it prolong till the last, or if you want to make it eternalize, it cannot be possible because everything has its own expiry date, and with the expiry date everything goes off. Money is external, he is learning. Well behind his desperate eyes, he is learning that money cannot purchase everything. The epistemology of loss, how to stand up knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. The epistemology means to study about knowledge, about someone's opinion, about someone's belief, etc. And this is how he learns the meaning of loss. How to stand up after having something lost. How will you stand up? That is the question. And how you will stand up, that is the answer. You will stand up on your own, on your feet, after being defeated, after having lost something or somebody. That is the flavor of life. That is the epistemology of life. What every man must one day know. And over time we become mature and we gain a lot of consciousness about the world, about the surrounding where we are dwelling. And that's how the poet ends the poem by saying in the concluding line that we have to be very much, firm, we have to be very much conscious, we have to be very much on our own terms and condition. We should not be defeated by the materialistic thing, we should not be defeated by the time. We have to have a great amount of power, at least to stand up and speak out for ourselves. Now here I just let you know that there is no rhyming scheme because the ending word of each line is not getting matched. Second one is, I want to let you know some of the literary devices that have been used in this poem. Firstly, alliteration. Alliteration means the first alphabet of the word will be getting repeated. Here we get to see in the very first line what. Again, in the second after comma we are getting who. So WH, these two words are getting repeated. It means it's an example of alliteration. Then merrily bouncing. Merrily bouncing means something. Merrily bouncing, in these two words we can use personification. Why? Because we are putting life into the non-living thing. Merrily means what? Happily. A non-living thing cannot be happy. A living thing can be, like that. Now, in the 8th line, all his young days into the harbor. All his young days. Young days, again this is an example of metaphor. Now again you come to the 13th line. There is balls, balls twice written. Again this is one of the examples of repetition. Another is one of the examples of alliteration. Now in the 15th line, he is learning. Now he, H-E, and again is learning, L-E-A-R-N-I-N-G. So if you find vowel sounds are being repeated twice in the same sentence, it will be the example of assonance. And here we are getting he, and another word is learning, L-E. So E is getting repeated 2 times, that's how. Epistemology means, as I said, the study of knowledge, belief, reason. And you can also see here one example of enjambment. Enjambment means there will be no punctuation mark, and in this poem we get to see there is no punctuation mark in several cases, in several lines. I mean to say, in the second line there is written go, there is no punctuation mark after that. Then in the 10th line again there is no punctuation mark after now. Then again responsibility, there is no punctuation mark, and then there is no punctuation mark in the 16th line after up, UP. Then 17th line no, after no there is no punctuation mark, and that's how the poem ends. So let me get you familiarized with the topic I have written over here, that is the theme. It talks about, the ball poem talks about the loss of childhood, loss of nostalgic moments, and that nostalgic moment used to be laden with, with the ball, with that ball. Growing up, now from being a small child, to the growing up days when you are becoming an adult person, in between the transition that we see, that can be studied out here through a little boy. Then we get to see learning to accept inevitable suffering. So when we mature, after some point of time we become mature, so we feel a lot of turbulence, we feel a lot of upheavals, and in order to become a mature person we have to accept a lot of sufferings, and once we accept those sufferings we become more stronger. Then nature of materialism. This ball is actually a symbolism. How? A symbolic thing. This ball is actually symbolizing those happy days when the poet, when the boy who used to be small, he is talking about those days. Then responsibility. If you talk about responsibility, when he becomes, that child becomes an adult person, he takes on some responsibilities and he sticks to all those rules and regulations that are applicable for being a grown-up person, taking care of everything and so on. So that's how the poet ends in this way, this poem. I hope you could understand. Still, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you for your time.